Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 9 p.m. English News Edition. Here are the headlines. Inauguration of Al Shifa Hospital, a building at the crossroads of science and modernity. Official launch of the Suragwa project aimed at building a sustainable future. And for the international news, in the Middle East, more than 40 Palestinians buried in Gaza after the return of their bodies and the ceasefire agreement. The details tonight. And now the details. This morning, Djibouti's capital witnessed an historical event, the inauguration of Al Shifa Hospital, the beginning of a new era in Djibouti's healthcare sector.
This morning was a milestone in the country's healthcare history. By inaugurating Al Shifa Hospital, Djibouti has turned a page and opened a new chapter, a medicine focused on the future and anchored in modernity and driven by a vision of health sovereignty. Standing out of the capital's urban landscape like a symbol of renewal, Al Shifa Hospital stands out as an architectural and technological monument. More than just a hospital, it reflects a national ambition to combine medical innovation, technical intelligence, and social humanism. With an initial capacity of 150 beds, expandable to 220, the center brings together more than 20 medical and surgical specialties, ranging from cardiology to neurosurgery, from pediatric to oncology. Its state-of-the-art technical platform, its hybrid operating rooms, and its critical care unit make it a benchmark infrastructure throughout the region. But the feat doesn't lie solely in medical technologies. The building itself lives, breathes, and thinks thanks to an integrated building management system and building management intelligence. The hospital monitors its vital parameters in real time: air conditioning, fire safety, electrical networks, waters. This digital health guarantees energy sufficiency and optimal safety, but also constant comfort for a patient and healthcare staff alike. The results of the enlightened vision of the National Social Security Fund, Al Shifa Hospital, is a showcase of fully embraced health sovereignty, and it reflects the firm commitment of a policy whose mission is to build a modern, human, and resilient healthcare system, an inspiring model for the entire Horn of Africa.
And now His Excellency Al-Hajj Ismail Margele, accompanied by the First Lady, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Haid, President of the UNFD, who officially inaugurated Al Shifa Hospital.
And to celebrate this historic day, Al Shifa Hospital, resplendent under the Djibouti sun, was prepared to welcome the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margele, who came to inaugurate this flagship of national health care, accompanied by the First Lady and President of the National Union of Djibouti Women, Ms. Khadra Mahmoud Haid. The head of state arrived at the brand new site where he was received by a high-ranking delegation. Upon his arrival, he was welcomed by the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the Minister of Labor and Administrative Reform, Mr. Umar Abdi Saeed, the Minister of Health, Ahmed Roble Abdili, the Minister of Higher Education, Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, and also Deqa Ahmed Roble, Director General of the National Social Security Fund, the project manager for this major project. With a solemn genuine emotion, the head of state performed the expected gesture, cutting the ribbon, a symbol of hope made real. This symbolic cutting of the inaugural ribbon marked the official opening of this public health monument, the result of a strategic vision and strong political will. This simple yet meaningful gesture illustrates the President's ongoing commitment to a modern, accessible, and equitable healthcare system. Amidst the audience's rapturous applause and the fervor of a grateful crowd, the red ribbon opened like a metaphor for hope, unleashing a new breath of life on Djibouti, that of a country that cares for, protect, and build its future on the health of its children, convinced that collective well-being is the finest expression of national sovereignty.
وين دغدي تلدادو وقر أبدور كنينا توكيو برواقادا نجرسي دوني دابو توكيو برواقادا نجرسي دوني دابو لا جعل دلكني هويو دنقل وهشتان نهاية لالنتي دلكا كله أناقا كودونينا مدويا دارين كيبو وين دغدي تلدادو وقر أبدور كنينا توكيو برواقادا نجرسي دوني دابو توكيو برواقادا نجرسي دوني دابو.
And now, after the official ceremony, His Excellency El-Haj Ismail Margele toured the hospital's various departments and facilities, visiting the modern operating rooms, medical laboratories, intensive care units, and a training hall equipped with the latest technology. The medical training center, which includes a live broadcast system for surgical procedures, greatly impressed the President of the Republic, His Excellency El-Haj Ismail Margele, who considered it an essential step in training new doctors in Djibouti and the Horn of Africa. He also observed the work of the hybrid operating room, the first of its kind in Djibouti, where multiple medical teams can cooperate simultaneously on the same patient in perfect coordination, reflecting the country's major advancement in medical technology.
الشفا دكتور أمه كانا يديق النمنا باكورتا ونكع عرسيون تو يديق النمنا باكورتا الشفا دكتور دحري ستنا يديق النمنا باكورتا نبا وكورتا نبا وكورتا يديق النمنا باكورتا يديق النمنا باكورتا نبا وكورتا يديق النمنا باكورتا يديق النمنا سيونتي دايلي وادول يا قميتي قدو يا قميتي قدو اتنا نو عصري هدت قدو دعتا تكنولوجي يا قميتي قدو يا شفايني سرماني يا قميتي قدو 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 فلي يدينا منبا وكوراتا الشفا دكتور أمح كاناي يدينا منبا وكوراتا ونكع عرسيون تو يدينا منبا وكوراتا الشفا دكتور دحري ستناي يدينا منبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا يدينا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا فلي يدينا منبا وكوراتا الشفا دكتور أمح كاناي يدينا منبا وكوراتا ونكع عرسيون تو يدينا منبا وكوراتا الشفا دكتور دحري ستناي يدينا منبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا يدينا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا يدينا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا دايلي فانتينا ينكففلي يدينا منبا وكوراتا الشفا دكتور أمح كاناي يدينا منبا وكوراتا ونكع عرسيون تو يدينا منبا وكوراتا الشفا دكتور دحري ستناي يدينا منبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا يدينا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا يدينا نبا وكوراتا نبا وكوراتا يدينا منبا وكوراتا
labada halkii u dhigay si ayna u turanturo ada ku tuursado waxaad ku tilmaamantahay waxqabadka taabagalay raggii tabantaaba galay isqadkeedii xornimo ka labada halkii u dhiigay si ayna u turanturo adaa ku tutuursado waxaad ku tilmaama tahay waxqabadka taabagalay
And now we turn to the statement delivered by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Djibouti, Al-Hajj Ismail Omar Guelleh, following the inauguration of Al-Shifa Hospital. In his address, the President Ismail Omar Guelleh expressed his deep pride and joy at witnessing the realization of one of Djibouti's most ambitious healthcare projects.
Today marks the realization of a vision born many years ago, a vision built on consistency, rigor, and dedication. What we see at Al-Shifa Hospital is not the result of chance, but of collective effort and faith in progress. I want to express my gratitude to Mrs. Deqa Ahmed Roble, General Director of the CNSS, whose sense of duty and love for our country helped turn this project into reality. This journey began in 2010 during my visit to Japan, where we first imagined a hospital that would combine technology, humanism, and accessibility. 15 years later, despite the challenge, we have fulfilled that promise. As part of Vision Djibouti 2035, our government will continue to modernize our health system so that every citizen has access to quality care. This hospital is more than a building. It is a symbol of a nation that heals, protects, and believes in its future.
And now the President of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Al-Hajj Ismail Omar Guelleh, has conveyed his warmest congratulations and best wishes for a success and achievement to his re-elected Cameroonian counterpart, Mr. Paul Biya, who was declared the winner on Monday of the recent presidential election held in Cameroon. These greetings from the head of state were expressed in a telegram of congratulation in which he notably praised the resounding electoral victory of President Paul Biya. The decisive margin that led to your re-election perfectly illustrates the broad support and confidence that your fellow citizens place in your political leadership, wrote President Guelleh. He further added that there is no doubt that the renewed trust you have just received will serve as an additional driving force in your continuous determination to advance your country's progress and development. President Ismail Omar Guelleh concluded his message by once again reiterating his warm congratulations to the re-elected President of Cameroon, Mr. Paul Biya. Yesterday morning, the Kempinski Palace hosted the national workshop on the Great Green Wall and the official launch of a project aimed at strengthening resilience to the impacts of climate change. The event was organized by the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development in partnership with the FAO and co-funded by the European Union and the Green Climate Fund. Faced with the accelerating degradation of land, increasing drought, and the growing effects of climate change, the Republic of Djibouti is reinforcing its commitment to combating desertification and restoring degraded ecosystems. The Resilience Project under the Great Green Wall in Africa, Suragwa, which forms part of the broader Great Green Wall initiative, aims to restore and protect 100 million hectares of degraded land. During the workshop, representatives from the government, partners and partner institutions and civil society organizations discussed national strategies to enhance the resilience of rural communities to climate-related challenges. For its part, the FAO representatives in Djibouti reaffirmed the organization's continued support for the government in implementing its environmental policies. He stressed that this project provides tangible assistance to strengthen the resilience of rural communities against the impact of climate change while promoting long-term sustainable development. He also reiterated FAO's commitment to continuing its cooperation with the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development to support national initiatives aimed at restoring degraded lands, improving agricultural productivity, and protecting Djibouti's natural resources. And in his speech, the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development, Mr. Mohamed Abdul Qadir Musa Halam, emphasized the importance of the project Suragwa for sustainable development, highlighting the need for an integrated approach to that combines environmental protection and food security, also poverty reduction. The project aims to strengthen the achievement of the Great Green Wall initiative by promoting sustainable land management practices, restoring degraded ecosystems, and improving the livelihoods of rural communities. The project builds upon the successful experience of FAO's anti-desertification program implemented in the Sahel countries. And now, 25 years after the Arta Peace Reconciliation Conference, a historic event that paved the way for Somalia's political reconstruction, a series of discussion and reflection sessions began this morning at the People's Palace in Djibouti. These commemorative meetings aim to revisit the foundations of the Arta process and to assess the progress achieved since that landmark moment in 2000. The first session, moderated by Dr. Abdurrashid Ismail, Deputy Director of Heritage Institute for Policy Studies, offered an analytical overview of Somalia's progress and the challenges it has faced since the Arta conference. The discussion brought together prominent political and diplomatic figures who underlined Djibouti's pivotal role in reuniting the Somali people after a decade of civil war. Arta did not only bring together political leaders, it also gave back a voice to a people who had long suffered, opening new horizons of hope and stability, noted Dr. Abdurrashid Ismail. The second session, chaired by Ismail Abdi, focused on the role of cultural and artistic memory in the national reconciliation process. Participants highlighted the importance of oral heritage, poetry, and arts as a tool for collective healing, noting that Somalia's rich oral traditions and shared symbols remain vital in rebuilding social bonds and restoring trust among communities. And now we turn to this report, which highlights the strong fraternal relations between Djibouti and Somalia, ties that played a crucial role in the organization of the Arta Conference for Somali Reconciliation Peace.
The brotherly breath between Djibouti and Somalia. We often remember the conferences, the signings, the official speeches, but the Somali Peace Conference was not just a page of diplomacy, it was a popular upsurge, more precisely a collective upsurge behind the political curtain. There was another miracle, that of entire country spontaneously decided to welcome history with a capital H. During these months of conferences, the inhabitants of Djibouti from the capital to the villages of the plateau opened their door, their heart, their kitchens. Home became inns. In every neighborhood, peace was spoken as a guest who had to be welcomed, and little by little, the small town of Arta was transformed into the laboratory of brotherhood. There were no more borders, no more distinctions, but a shared humanity, simple and disarming. Djibouti was not just welcoming Somalia, it was giving it a new face. This movement was not driven by the state alone. Large Djiboutian businesses dug into their pockets, traders, transporters, and ranchers, each according to their means, contributing their stones to this moral edifice. Some offered food, other livestock, equipment. We saw simple gestures, a check, a hat, but each gesture said the same thing. This peace is also ours. Arta became a common home where every household became an ambassador. And in this mobilization, Djiboutian women took the front line under the leadership of the First Lady, head of the National Union of Djiboutian Women. They made hospitality a collective effort. This was the true face of Arta, a poor country in a difficult situation, but rich in humanity, where people gave without calculation, where they shared without expecting anything in return. When the Somali delegates returned home, they took with them more than an agreement. They took with them the memory of a laboratory people who, for a single season, had reminded them what it means to be together. Arta was not a conference. It was a lived fraternity, a breathed peace, proof that everything begins with the generosity of people. And in Djiboutian memory, this moment remains etched like a silent oath that nowhere ever should make us forget the strength of an outstretched hand.
And now we follow another report showcasing the songs that embody the spirit and significance of this reconciliation.
In the tumult of negotiation amid subspecies protocols and signatures, there was another language, one that diplomats did not invent, but that people have always known how to speak. Music. Arta was not just a political conference, it was a song, a memory born of pain and hope, which gradually became a fraternal symphony beyond the platforms and the flags. Djibouti and Somali artists gave peace a voice, brotherhood of breath, and history a rhythm. In the evening, between two work sessions, the poets recited the Gabe, those thousands-year-old oral poems that bring soul together. The singer sang slow, deep melodies, speaking of a lost country, of a mother without sons, of homes without roof, but also of the forgiveness to come. The importance of songs of peace in the reconciliations of the Somali people cannot be overstated. In a society where oral tradition is central, songs and Gabe were not simply artistic expression. They were political, legal, and spiritual instruments capable of diffusing conflict, restoring honors, and above all, recreating social bonds. Peace had not yet been signed, but it already vibrated in the strings of the instrument, in the voice of the women, in the contemplative silence of the men. They were called the Songs of Arta, songs written in the languages of the head, composed by artists from both sides of the rivalry to remind us that Africa, before being political, is first and foremost poetic. As such, these songs were not simply cultural accompaniment, they were political actors in their own right, capable of mobilizing collective emotions, reconfiguring clan narrative, and creating national symbolism. Their ritual functions, their moral significance, and their ability to transcend divisions made them irreplaceable tools for peace in the Somali context. They were not simply cultural decorations, they were the beating heart of the peace process. When debate became bogged down, music held the wounded words. When mistrust arose, a poem was enough to restore calm. And in the great hall of Arta, where division was often discussed, the note spoke of unity. The musician becomes mediator, the poet translator of the unspeakable. They expressed was what official discourse could no longer convey: the need to be understood, the right to be heard. By transcending clan languages and memory, music did what politics alone could no longer do: bring people together. It became the gentle weapon of a shared peace. Even today, in the height of Arta, when the wind blows over the memorials, one can hear those songs returning. There are no echoes, they are promises. Arta was that a dialogue between men, yes, but above all, a concert of soul. The songs remind us of a simple and universal trust that before being a treaty, peace is an emotion.
And now we're coming back to Djibouti, where in the framework of strengthening cooperation toward an inclusive environment, the National Agency for Persons with Disabilities awards to the disability-friendly certificate to the Djibouti Ports and Free Zone Authority as part of its ongoing efforts to promote collaboration with stakeholders from both the public and private sectors to build an inclusive environment. The Director General of the ANPH, Mr. Douali Said Mahmoud, officially presented the disability-friendly certificate to Mr. Abubakar Umar Hadi, Chairman of the Djibouti Ports and Free Zones Authorities. This recognition highlights the exemplary commitment of the authority to the integration and inclusion of persons with disabilities within its operation and workforce. On this occasion, Mr. Abubakar Umar Hadi offered a symbolic gift to Mr. Douali Said Mahmoud, symbolizing the mutual appreciation and partnership in advancing inclusion and accessibility. And now, within the framework of the European Union-funded project to strengthen the mandate and practices of the National Human Rights Commission, the CNDH, the Commission organized a training session for judges from the National School of Judicial Studies. The training aimed to enhance the capacity of future judges to protect and uphold human rights throughout judicial proceedings and to deepen their understanding of the quasi-judicial role of the Commission. The CNDH developed a comprehensive training program covering universal human rights principles and their integration into judicial practice. Participants gained in-depth knowledge of both national and international legal frameworks and existing protection mechanisms, emphasizing the central role of justice in advancing human rights. The training focused on the role of justice in safeguarding individuals' rights, including the presumption of innocence, the right to a fair trial, respect for human dignity, and access to information and legal assistance. The director of the program of the CNDH emphasized the importance of the training, highlighting its vital role in strengthening the capacity of future judges to integrate human rights principles into judicial practice. He noted that such initiatives are essential to promoting a justice system grounded in fairness, transparency, and respect for human dignity, and that continuous training helps ensure that judges are better equipped to protect individual rights throughout all stages of legal proceedings. The General Assembly of the Djiboutian Scouts Union was held at the National Educational Center under the supervision of an electoral committee chaired by Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Farah, Deputy President of the National Association for the Promotion of Physical Education, along with 3 members of the Executive Committee. The meeting brought together 100 participants from various secondary and middle schools in the capital, selected from scouting section established during the current academic year. The Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, His Excellency Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, launched the scouting movement in May 2025, entrusting the APEPS Association with the mission of establishing Scout section in all educational institutions across the country. This initiative led to the creation of the Djiboutian Scout Union, which now counts around 800 scouts. During the General Assembly, the union's statutes were adopted, and Mr. André, an educator and well-known social representative, was elected president of the new body. The newly formed Executive Bureau also includes representatives of parents, school directors, teachers, and 4 scouts elected by their peers. The Executive Bureau is expected to present 2025-26 action plan, including diverse activities such as scout camps, training sessions in civic camps, and periods of national and community service, all inspired by scouting values, volunteering, citizenship, patriotism, protection of public properties, and environmental preservation. And now we go into Tanzania, in the turquoise waters of Biju village on Zanzibar's eastern coast. Women gather seaweed every morning. The details.
Of them hold formal employment. There are estimated of 25,000 seaweed farmers in Zanzibar, the vast majority of whom are women. Several local initiatives are seeking to improve their working conditions and strengthen their role in the value chain. The company Umani Zanzibar, for example, train formal producers to create the natural seaweed-based cosmetics, giving them the opportunity to spend more time in the workshop than at sea.
And now for the international news, over 40 Palestinians buried in Gaza after bodies returned under the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas.
More than 14 Palestinians buried in Gaza after their bodies were returned as part of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and the Palestinian resistance movement, Hamas. More than 14 Palestinians were buried Monday in Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip after a funeral prayers held in Nasser Hospital following the return of their bodies by Israel. These remains are among the 195 bodies returned in recent days as part of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and the Palestinian resistance movement Hamas. According to local sources, the majority of the victims are civilians killed during Israeli bombardment of Gaza in recent months. For its part, Hamas affirmed its respect for the terms of the truce that came into effect in mid-October, while specifying that the search for the bodies of the Israeli hostages still missing continuing, with the assistance of Egyptian teams and heavy technical resources. Despite the truce, witnesses reported a limited Israeli airstrike in Khan Yunis area on Sunday night, which killed at least 2 people, raising fears of a possible breach of the ceasefire. The humanitarian situation in Gaza remains critical, marked by severe shortages of water, fuel, and food, as well as the presence of a large number of undetonated explosive devices. The United Nations is calling for an urgent increase in humanitarian aid transiting through the Rafah crossing to stabilize the truce and improve the living conditions of residents.
This is the end of this 9 p.m. English News Edition. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more on RTD.